Good evening and welcome. My name is Fiona Gill and welcome to the webinar for the Module 1 of Unit 1, which covers personal effectiveness and professional ethics. First of all, technical arrangements. Please raise your hand on the question panel if you cannot hear me. If you lose connection for any reason, refer to the email guidance on how to dial in via telephone. We are recording the session to share in retrospect, which means you can revisit the session afterwards if you do have any connection issues. Remember that Wi-Fi is a slower connection and it is always preferable to use hard cable into your internet connection wherever possible when attending. A note on questions. Please note the controls on your dashboard. Raise your hand, type a question or self-mute as needed. You can also click on View and check or uncheck the Auto Hide dashboard. At all times you will see the little bar on the left with the microphone symbol, the raised hand icon and a green area to show the main dashboard. There will be time for questions at the end and you will be muted so that you can ask your question at the end. I will unmute learners in turn. So let's get started this evening. Module 1 covers key concepts to contribute to your personal effectiveness as a school business manager and provides ideas on using self-evaluation to identify improvements and ethics with regard to our profession and understanding the need for well-being and how to manage this. Most school business managers will have management and leadership roles. As a learner, you may have undertaken a self-assessment to find out if your specific role is more leadership or management. The amount of time you manage in comparison with lead will be different for each learner and can often depend on the school setting. For example, the school business manager in a primary school may spend more time managing than the school business manager in a large secondary school. Let us review the words used in relation to leadership. They are vision, inspire, mission, aims, values, direction and strategy, whereas with management we tend to use words such as plan, organisation, operate, deploy and evaluate. All of these skills equip the manager in writing policies, embedding procedures, checking progress, setting up systems and achieving aims through the management of the organisation's resources. In his book, The 7 Habits of Effective People, Covey says that management is a bottom line focus. How can I best accomplish certain things? Leadership, however, deals with the top line. What are the things I want to accomplish? In the words of both Peter Drucker and Warren Bennis, management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things. Management is efficiency in climbing the ladder of success. Leadership determines whether the ladder is leaning against the right wall. Covey explains that you can quickly grasp the important difference between the two if you envision a group of producers cutting their way through the jungle with machetes. They're the producers, the problem solvers. They're cutting through the undergrowth and clearing it out. The managers are behind them, sharpening their machetes, writing policy and procedure manuals, holding muscle development programs, bringing in improved technologies, and setting up work schedules and compensation programs for machete wielders. The leader is the one who climbs the tallest tree, surveys the entire situation, and yells out, "Wrong jungle." He argues that effectiveness does not depend solely on how much effort we expend, but on whether or not the effort we expend is in the right jungle. Proactive, powerful leadership must constantly monitor environmental change, particularly customer habits and motives, and provide the force necessary to organise resources in the right direction. At the start of this programme, your focus may be on management, but as you progress, you should find that your view shifts to that of leader. I found this when I studied the Level 5 diploma. I started to realise for my school to get best value from my role, I needed to build a support team so that I could lead them with direction, allowing me time to work with the head teacher on the long-term vision for the school. Through my learning, I was able to understand that it was okay for me to lead an improvement, but then the setting up and administration of routine procedures had to be passed on, thereby allowing me time to lead the next improvement. Examples of such improvements in my school are introducing parent pay, extended services, school catering, premise risk assessments, sensory room and building projects. So what personal skills should we be looking to develop as school business managers? Examples are model practice for others to follow, leading a team effectively, use of delegation as a developmental tool, effective team meetings, change leadership and management to handle conflicts successfully, team monitoring, providing constructive and improvement-led feedback, use of coaching methods, use of and promoting a self-evaluate culture, time management in line with priorities, influential strategic leader on improvements, ability to communicate to various stakeholder individuals and also groups. But let's get back to basics and the role of the school business manager in schools and why your personal effectiveness is crucial to the successes of the school leadership team. Approximately 80% of school business managers now sit on the school leadership team. If you are not already on the school leadership team, then one action I would want you to take forward from your learning over this course is to ask your head teacher to be part of this senior leadership team and to attend governing body and trustee committee meetings. Along with increasing leadership, recognition has come the line management of staff who directly report to you as the school business manager. Therefore, the aim of this unit is for you to improve on one area of personal effectiveness. The aim is to make you the best that you can be, to look at the way we view situations and experiences, to become an ideal self with strengths instead of gaps in personal effectiveness. On a professional and personal basis, how many times have you had a situation where you think after, I could have handled that better? On page 12 in your module 1, there is a model adapted from Boyatsi, which demonstrates the importance of having an action plan with milestones and action steps with the end goal in mind. It is argued that the plan will increase your likelihood of success by 12 times. However, the plan cannot be viewed as a step 1, 2, 3 model, as changing behaviours and paradigms are not easy to change as they will be based on habit. The habit has to be reprogrammed, and this will mean revisiting your action plan and sometimes going back a step. It is accepted that you may not have even finished developing your chosen skill by the end of Unit 1 and your assessment deadline. Therefore, you would write about your progress to date with your chosen skill and provide a plan for your next steps. Page 13 of Module 1 refers to tips, ideas and techniques on self-directed learning from the website. There is a YouTube video link and reading in the resources to provide you with ideas on your own self-development. Going on to page 14, there is various sources provided for you to decide on an area of development for yourself. You may use your appraisals, self-reviews, critical reflection, research, feedback from other colleagues, or your own experience. That is, you may have observed someone who effectively managed a meeting. One way to start is to look at your goals for the future and decide on your skill gap. The practice of self-reflection is important in reaching and sustaining effectiveness. If we do not stop to think about what we do well, what not so well, and how we can challenge ourselves to improve, then there will be no improvement. Pages 17 to 22 in Module 1 takes you through professional and personal ethics and asks you to consider the impact on personal effectiveness. There have been many public sector cases of a lack of ethics and principles, and this has resulted in lost public confidence. Ethics is crucial to good leadership throughout businesses and organisations, both public and private. In 2015, Expedia was named as the top place to work in, and the Telegraph quoted, "Expedia was praised by staff for its generous compensation package, inclusive work environment and good company ethics." Comments made about the top 10 companies evidence the company leaders acknowledging staff efforts. Let us think about the words that relate to ethics. The list is on the screen. Honesty, openness, probity, accountability, integrity, objectivity, and understanding. A culture of ethics, therefore, is not just relevant to the finance officer handling the money, but the whole school, so that the service quality and value provided to our pupils is as good as it can be. In the role of the school business manager, we have the underpinning National Association of School Business Management competency framework, which outlines the professional disciplines and standards for all school business managers. Have a read of the behaviours for SBMs defined on page 34 of the framework. It uses words such as change catalyst, decision maker, skilled negotiator, collaborator, resilience, challenger. These behaviours have to be underpinned by strong professional ethics. So how do we demonstrate personal and professional ethics? On a daily basis by working in line with things such as the 7 Principles of Public Life from the Nolan Committee, compliance with legislation, good stewardship and honesty, not ignoring those who are not performing ethically, have as the core the well-being, achievement and attainment of the pupils, regard for the school's policies, ethos and procedures, professional respect, observe the appropriate boundaries to your role, safeguard and protect the pupils, confidentiality and sensitivity, commitment to continuing professional development, collaborate and support the school business manager community and act with integrity at all times. It is quite right that ethics apply to all the school staff, but for school business managers as leaders in the areas that they manage, the need is higher. You have to be ethical in managing finance, human resources, contracts and line management. Obviously, ethics is not a law in itself, and there is not a black and white rule as to what is ethical and what is not. Therefore, it would be advisable that each school holds a code of conduct or code of ethics for its employees. When we talk about ethics, we often see the words fairness and integrity, and these have to be applied to all decisions and considerations. They include empathy. Have you considered the viewpoint, experience or background of the other person? Responsibility for the decisions that we make. Develop, to learn from our own mistakes and help others to do this. Transparency and accountability, to always have open processes and procedures that can, if needed, be challenged by bodies such as Ofsted, parents or staff groups. Within a management role, a lack of ethical conduct would become apparent. Some examples within the school business manager's role are: in finance, there could be disregard for policy and internal regulations, creating the opportunity for fraudulent practice. In human resources, it might be a lack of safer recruitment and high levels of grievances and complaints against management and the school. For general work ethics, there could be a lack of consultation and breaking confidentiality. It can result in questionable personal behaviours, such as favouritism or a lack of compassion. In conclusion, Covey defines integrity as fundamentally the value we place on ourselves. It's our ability to make and keep commitments to ourselves, to walk our talk. It's honour with self, a fundamental part of the character ethic, the essence of proactive growth. Later on in Module 1, on page 28, it brings you on to the importance of professional well-being. This is intrinsically connected to stress and concerns, and often this can be alleviated by having someone to talk to. The school business manager has to view well-being from a professional, that is organisational, and personal perspective. For both personal and organisational, we need to be aware of people's needs and relate to models such as Maslow's hierarchy of needs, in that individuals have to fulfil physical needs and then also meet psychological needs in achieving potential, aspirations and social well-being. In a school situation as school business managers, we have to ensure that buildings are safe and clean, that people are getting paid on time so that they can meet their family demands. So that is their physical needs. But on a psychological side, there might be working towards developing, continuing professional development and areas such as welfare. Getting this right in a professional capacity will mean a positive atmosphere and culture reflected in the positive attitudes of staff. An example is Woodside High School, which moved from satisfactory to outstanding, and Ofsted quote, "This remarkable journey of improvement is the result of the dedicated and highly focused leadership of Joan and her team. Consistency lies at the heart of this school's success. Whole school policies, procedures and systems are adhered to by all members of the community and leaders. Rigorously check that this is the case. Students are now making outstanding progress. GCSE results have risen year on year as a result of a relentless focus on improving teaching and learning linked to high aspirations and a positive ethos where poor performance is not tolerated." Stress in the workplace is a significant issue in the education sector, and I must admit that from a personal view, I did not come across colleagues being absent from work with stress prior to my working in the education sector. Pressures include low public esteem, difficult relationships with stakeholders such as parents, Ofsted, lack of control over the job and a range of accountability. A lot of information is on the health and safety website for reference and or through your local authority. First part of managing stress is not to view it as weakness but as honesty and create an environment where staff will feel they can be open about their feelings before hopefully the need to be absent from work. Once identified, stress can be addressed through reducing pressures on staff and providing the opportunity to staff to manage pressures better. School business managers have a vital role in ensuring that premises and facilities are maintained in good working conditions, their staff do not have an unacceptable level of workload, internal politics do not create stress, an awareness of meeting regulations but not being overly bureaucratic, and to work towards removing a blame culture through positive management of mistakes that are made. So what is the connection with effectiveness? Well, businessballs.com suggests that to achieve personal effectiveness as individuals, we need to safeguard our personal well-being. Failure to do so will impact on our quality of work, performance and productivity, and therefore our effectiveness. The document, 5 Ways to Wellbeing, provides steps on achieving well-being. It is therefore connected to your own resilience and positive attitude and self-image and provides a way to recognise reactions and emotions and also those of who we work with, resulting in understanding, openness, genuine empathy and a positive work culture which enables us as managers and leaders to achieve. So to summarise, you should now be able to see the interrelationship between personal effectiveness, professional ethics ethical conduct and well-being, and the impact these areas will have on you being a good manager and leader. So in Module 1 of Unit 1, you're looking at professional effectiveness as a whole topic. In Modules 2 and 3, you will focus on a particular skill for you to develop, and these modules provide you with individual skills to consider. So some reminders on moving forward. Page 8, the learning planning template, can be found in the resources and in the Module 1 books. From the skills, decide which one you want to develop, and this will be the core of your work and assessment for Unit 1. Popular learner choices are time management, assertiveness, managing conflict, negotiation, managing meetings, delivering presentations, but you may choose coaching, resilience, change management, or delegation, dependent on your personal choice for improvement or development. You then need to plan your course of action and submit this action plan to me by the 25th of February via email. If you are struggling, then please contact me and we can use your one-to-one tutorial to get you started. Also, read the resources in the folder and maintain a reflection log. Record your considerations and reasons and the outcomes, as this will be useful guidance as you refer to areas for development throughout the whole course. At this point, there was an any questions session. There were no questions from the learners, apart from Sue, which was a question regarding cohort 1 and 2 and not relevant to the webinar for personal effectiveness. I will be scheduling and sending out registration emails with regard to the webinar for Unit 1, Module 2, which is planned for next Friday, 12th of February at 4:30. Good night and thank you for attending.